Welcome to Master the Game. I am Juice, and today we are going to be talking about the Advanced Player's Guide for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, the new character ancestry, Kobolds. So let's get started. If this is your first time here, I would really appreciate it if you would smash that subscribe button. About 70% of my views come from non-subscribers, and I would love to add you guys to the Master the Game family where we talk about all sorts of fun things for Pathfinder 2nd Edition and other game systems. We also do live streams with mini painting, live streams of games that we play, and all sorts of other fun stuff. So the Kobolds are really well done in the Advanced Player's Guide. In fact, they're probably one of my favorite ancestries in the new book. They have a bump to their charisma, their dexterity, and they get one free bump. Now, you guys know if you have 3, then obviously you have to have 1 character flaw, and they get that to their constitution. Now, the kobolds are small. One of the things that's going to factor into this, obviously they get the negative to their con, but they also only get 6 hit points. So on the surface, you might not think, oh, these guys are going to be great for martial classes. But there are some things in here that actually help them with that. Personally, I think playing them as a sorcerer would be really fun, especially due to the charisma modifier. And I think you could still also do something like a champion or something like that as well. Now, kobolds, you're going to select a Draconic exemplar. Basically, that's the dragon type they're associated with. It's going to determine if you take a breath weapon as a feat. It's going to determine the shape. It's going to determine the damage type. It's also going to determine saving throw bonuses as well. There are some pretty cool kobold heritages in here. So the cavern kobold, you're considered to be flexible. You can climb rock walls, stalactites, and other natural stone features. You move half your speed on a success and full speed on a critical success. And you move at full speed on a success if you have quick climb. So again, you might want to take quick climb, especially if you think you're going to be in a lot of situations where you're going to be climbing so that you get that full movement. This doesn't affect you if you're using a climb speed. If you roll a success on an acrobatics check to squeeze, you get a critical success instead. So again, that's kind of cool. There's a lot of flavor there. You know, you can kind of see how that would benefit you for certain builds. The dragon skilled kobold, your skills are especially colorful. You get the same resistance as the dragon possesses. You gain a resistance equal to half your level, minimum of 1, to the damage type associated with Draconic exemplar. Double this resistance against dragon's breath weapons. So again, this is going to be extremely effective if you're fighting against dragons or anything that does that damage type. So again, I think this is going to be a really cool one for people to take. It's one that I would probably take. The spell scale Kobold. A trace of draconic magic flows through your veins. Choose 1 cantrip from the arcane spell list. That's in the core rulebook 307. You can cast this spell as an arcane innate spell at will. A cantrip is heightened to a spell level equal to half your level rounded up. You gain the trained proficiency rank in arcane spell attack rolls and spell DCs. And your key spellcasting ability is charisma. Again, this is why I think it would go really well with something like a sorcerer. Strong Jaw Kobold. Your bloodline is noted for their powerful jaws and sharp teeth. You gain a Jaws unarmed attack that deals 1d6 piercing damage. Your jaws are in the brawling group and have the finesse unarmed traits. This is pretty common across a few ancestries now. We've seen a lot of them where you can bump the damage from a bite attack, and things like that. And so this is kind of on par with a lot of other ancestries. The Venomtail Kobold. A vestigial spur in your tail secretes 1 dose of deadly venom each day. You gain the tail toxin action. So once per day, you can apply venom to your weapon. Again, I actually like this a lot. I think it lends itself to playing a rogue very well. This is a single action. You apply your tail's venom to a piercing or slashing weapon. If your next strike with that weapon before the end of your next turn hits and deals damage, you deal persistent poison damage equal to your level to the target. Equal to your level. So if you're level 10, every round you're dealing 10 persistent damage if you hit. That's pretty big, especially if you're talking about fighting boss battles and things like that. I think that's a pretty powerful ability. Now, some of the feats, again, are really cool. I like the Kobold feats. I think, again, they lend themselves to playing a nimble rogue. I think they lend themselves to playing a spellcaster that specializes in charisma. So cringe. A creature you are aware of critically succeeds on a strike against you and would deal damage to you. With pitiful posturing, you cause your foe to pull back a deadly attack. The attacking creature takes a circumstance penalty to the damage of the triggering strike, equal to your level +2. This penalty applies after doubling the damage for a critical hit. The attacker is then immune to your cringe for 24 hours. So if they hit you, you're going to do this as a reaction, and it's 2 plus your level to take off the damage. So if they crit, say they crit and they roll 10 on the total damage, because again, you multiply it, you then take the damage of, if you're at first level, 3 off of there. This is going to be a big deal. I think a lot of people are going to take this. That attacker will be immune for 24 hours. It only works on crits, so that's the other thing. So if you get crit multiple times, this is going to be something you're going to do a lot. And it's going to save your butt, I think, a few times. The Dragon's Presence feat. As a member of Dragonkind, you project unflappable confidence that collapses catastrophically against the deadliest foes. When you roll a success on a saving throw against a fear effect, you get a critical success instead. When you roll a failure against a fear effect, you get a critical failure instead. So this is going to be far more extreme. In addition, when you attempt to demoralize a foe of your level or lower, you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to the intimidation check. This is going to cause a lot of extremes, forcing those critical failures, those critical successes. Really, I don't know when I would take this feat because that critical fail is going to hurt, right? But if you're somebody who likes to have the extremes of the critical successes and the critical fails, this is probably going to be in line with what you want. On top of that, you get a +1 on the demoralize. So if you're going to do that a lot in combat, you might want to take this for that. But it's those critical fails that I'd be worried about. Now, the next one is Kobold Breath. Kobold Breath is pretty good. You channel your Draconic exemplar's power into a gout of energy that manifests as a 30-foot line or 15-foot cone, dealing 1d4 damage. Each creature in the area must attempt a basic saving throw against the higher of your class DC or spell DC. So again, you're taking the better number, which is awesome. You can't use this ability again for 1d4 rounds. That's it. You have to wait. You roll a 1d4, and that's how long you have to wait till you can do it again. So you can do this a lot. It is 2 actions. But at 3rd level and every 2 levels thereafter, the damage increases by 1d4. The shape of the breath, the damage type, and the saving throw match those of your Draconic exemplar. This ability has the trait associated with the type of damage it deals. So again, 1d4 damage doesn't sound like a lot, but again, you're going to be able to do it to multiple creatures at a time, and you can do it pretty regularly. I feel like this, especially if you've already attacked, this would be a good ability to use after that, because you're not going to have a negative. It's forcing them to make saving throws. You don't get that negative attack bonus, applied to it. So that's kind of nice. Kobold lore, similar to other lore for other ancestries. You gain trained proficiency in stealth and thievery. And then if you already got that, then you can choose whatever you want. You also become trained in Kobold lore. Scamper. This is a single action. This is also a level 1 feat. You are adjacent to at least one enemy. You instinctively know how to flee danger. You stride up to your speed with a 5-foot status bonus to your speed. And you gain a +2 circumstance bonus to AC against reactions triggered by this movement. You must end this movement in a space that's not adjacent to an enemy. So that one's kind of cool. Again, I could see using that, especially as a rogue, or even a spellcaster, I suppose. That would actually be really useful. Snare Setter. You have to be trained in crafting for this one. This one to me is very flavorful, playing a kobold, being known to set traps and things like that. So you're adept at the time-honored kobold art of trap making. You gain the trained proficiency in crafting. If you were already trained in crafting, you instead become trained in a skill of your choice. You gain access to all uncommon kobold snares. You gain the snare crafting feat. Though when choosing your formulas for that feat, you can also choose from uncommon kobold snares as well as common snares. If you're a rogue, this is great. Convince your party to let you sneak ahead, set traps, and then come back. Like, that is really cool. And then you can lure enemies into the traps. That's how I would probably use it, and I think it would be a lot of fun to see how many monsters you can get caught up in this. Ally Shelter is a reaction. It's a 5th level feat. You can use it once per day. Trigger, you attempt a saving throw while adjacent to one or more allies, but you haven't rolled yet. In stressful circumstances, you find strength in your ally's example. Roll the save using an adjacent ally's modifier for that type of saving throw instead of your own. So if you have some characters in your party that have really good saving throws, you might want to stay near them around certain types of enemies and strategize and then use this. Again, you can only use it once per day, but this could be the difference of life and death. Fighting big boss battles, fighting, swarms of enemies that can wreck you, like whatever. This can really help you. Grovel is a single action. You must be trained in deception. Obsequious words and begging gestures. You convince your foe you are less of a threat. You attempt to feint against a creature. Unlike a normal feint, the creature can be within 30 feet instead of in your melee reach. And you make your check against its will DC instead of its perception DC. Snare Genius. Expert in crafting, snare crafting. So you can, basically you're going to get a lot more snares and you're going to do much better with them. You force them to become flat-footed if they've gotten caught up in your snares. And obviously we all know how important that is because it gives you a better chance of critically hitting them. Between the Scales is a level 9 feat. Underestimating you is a grave mistake, but it's one others keep making. You've learned to take advantage of slips in your foe's defenses. When you strike a flat-footed creature using a melee weapon or unarmed attack that has the agile and finesse traits, it gains the backstabber trait. So again, say you set a snare, it goes off, they're flat-footed, now you can attack them, now you get the backstabber trait. Like, that all sounds great. It flows really well with the other stuff, being if you're a rogue as well. Now, you're getting all that extra damage. I think this is an amazing thing. Dracomancer, another level 9 feat. Your inborn arcane power manifests as your exemplar's most time-honored spells. Choose one first level spell and one second level spell from those listed for a dragon spellcaster of your exemplar's type, as presented on 104 through 126 of the bestiary, such as Alarm, Blur, Invisibility, True Strike, for a black dragon exemplar. You can cast each of these spells once per day as arcane innate spells. You gain the trained proficiency rank in arcane spell attack rolls and spell DCs, and your key spellcasting ability is Charisma. Dragon's Breath. Prerequisite, must have Kobold's Breath. You can put more effort into your Kobold Breath to channel greater Draconic power, though it takes more out of you. When you use Kobold Breath, you can increase the damage dice to D8s and increase the area to 60 feet for a line breath weapon or 30 feet for a cone. If you do, you can't use Kobold Breath again for 1 hour. So you could do it normal with your lesser damage type, or you can bump it up, but then you can't use it for an hour. So again, you get some versatility there. That's one of the things I really love about Pathfinder 2nd Edition is the versatility you get within some of these feats and abilities and stuff like that. 13th level, Elite Dracomancer. Prerequisites, you must have the regular Dracomancer feat. Your magic rivals that of lesser dragons. Choose one 3rd level spell and 4th level spell from the listed exemplary. You can cast each of these spells once per day as arcane innate spells. So again, I think the Kobold is going to be a lot of fun to play. I think Pathfinder did a great job with the Kobold. I believe that, again, I could see myself playing it for various types of characters, whether I'm playing a sorcerer, whether I'm playing a rogue, a champion, because I think a champion might be kind of fun with it for some reason. A swashbuckler Kobold might be cool. Anything that really hones in on dex and charisma will be great. I could still see myself trying it as a barbarian. Using the breath weapon would be cool. Pairing that up with the draconic type, probably, of the barbarian. Maybe pairing it up with one of the animal change types of barbarians or druids. Again, I think that the Kobold can be a lot of fun for a variety of classes. And the different abilities you get within just the ancestry lend themselves to a lot of different things. A lot of situational things that I think you're going to use a lot in most campaigns. So again, I think the Kobold is really well done. In my opinion, it's better than the Catfolk, which we've already reviewed in the past. So if you haven't seen that video, just click up here and you can go watch that video. But yeah, so anyways, this was Master the Game. I am Juce. game on. If you have not purchased the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Advanced Player's Guide, please click on the link below. I'm also going to have a pinned comment with that link over there. You can support the channel a little bit. Every little dime, you guys spend there helps me a ton. It doesn't cost you any extra. And yeah, so I appreciate all of the support you guys give me. I want to give a quick shout out and thanks to my patrons. Without you guys, there is so much I wouldn't be able to do. We're currently in the process of redoing the game room here, trying to make it more efficient. So if you like watching Pathfinder videos, this is going to be the channel for you. So again, smash that subscribe button, hammer that like button if you want to see more content like this, and we will see you guys next time. This was Master of the Game. I am Juice. Game on.